name's Larry, aka Simudad. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Somewhere in Thuringia III Terralife Plus. I hope you're all well. Hope you've had a great week so far. What have you been up to? And I do hope you have been enjoying the series so far. We are episode 8, I believe. We're up at our silage cornfield. Just doing a little quick pre-check before we get on with the day. So we are growth stage 14 of 26. As you can see, the corn shoots have gotten a little bit bigger since yesterday, since last week. So they are coming along quite nicely. Still nothing in the way of weeds, so there's nothing for us to do. I've checked the other fields. They're all ticking along nicely as well. No weeds coming through there. So today, one thing I want to touch on real quick, two things. The money situ, with if you're eagle-eyed and you notice we're slightly higher on money than we were at the end of the last episode. The reason for that is we sold that little Fent front loader tractor we were using, if you remember, when we were mixing up the feed. It poor thing wasn't quite tall enough to reach the top of the farrow skin, so we had to get rid of that. We haven't bought its replacement yet, but we'll probably just get another telehandler or something similar, like a bucket like a wheel loader or something that's tall enough. I did contemplate another tractor with a front loader, like a bigger tractor, so we may still do that, but at the moment it's not a pressing matter. We are cracking along nicely, so that's why we're a bit higher on money. The second thing is, there's actually three things. So the second thing is, feed-wise, as we slept overnight, the cows had gone through about 2,500 to 3,000 litres of feed, give or take. So if that's overnight, then we could probably expect about a 6,000 to 7,000 litre per day of feed requirement, give or take. That is very rough maths, so at the moment that's what it is. The other thing, the third thing that I just thought of, I noticed that our bull wasn't too happy in our pen, animal cow barn. So what I did was I took the liberty to quickly mix up. I realised there's actually a feed recipe for the bull. Now it's quite interesting because the requirements are the same, as in the required ingredients are exactly the same on the recipe as what we mixed up at the end of the last episode for the cows. Now, what I noticed was the bull cannot reproduce. Obviously, we bought the 28-month bull because it said that guy was ready to go. At the moment, it's saying cannot reproduce. Now, I think that's because the health is down. And I think the reason the health is down is because we weren't taking care of his feed requirements. So I mixed up a half mix of feed. It was about 23,000 litres of feed for him. The way I did that was I just bought the stuff in from the store, which sort of filled up a lot of these things here. So I think because even though all the inputs were give or take the same, I think the reason is it wasn't, when we were tipping it in, it was tipping it in and registering that it was a dairy mixed ration rather than a bull fattening mixed ration. So I'm hoping to see these numbers improve as we sort of go through. So what we'll do is we'll just keep a little eye on that. Worst case scenario, if we can't get the bull to reproduce, we can sell him and we can just do veterinary reproduction, get a vet in to do an artificial insemination. So we'll keep an eye on that as it is at the moment. Like I said, everything is fine on the cows, on the sort of cow side. And then we are looking better on the bull side. So we'll just keep an eye on his reproductive activity. If it's looking like not much is going on, then we will perhaps get rid of him and get a vet to do the insemination. So what we're going to do today, because there's literally nothing for us to do on our farm. I took the liberty of getting 2 IBCs of fertilizer delivered for our John Deere. And I've took on 2 contracts, 2 fertilizing contracts. If we hop into the menu, they are 2 of the biggest ones on the field, so we probably are going to have to buy some more fertilizer. So field 33 and field 73, one's paying just under 35, one's paying just over 30. I've got better contracts on, so better contracts is estimating that our profit out of both of those jobs is 19,500 for field 33 and just over 17 for field 73. So that's what we're going to do on this episode, is 2 contracts just to bump our money up. And probably what I might do between now and the next episode is I might just move time on a week, a couple of weeks, keeping an eye on the cow feed and everything, and we'll do that. So without much further ado, let's crack on. So we've got field 33, 73. I'm just going to see where they are to see which one is closer. So 73 is closer. It's actually this huge field up the back here, so we can get to that relatively quickly. So if we hop in and we'll get going. Now obviously we've got the fat tires on this John Deere. So I'm hoping that it doesn't affect crop destruction for other farms. I don't think it should, because it's a contract, it's not our land. So I don't think it will do anything in the way of destroying the other farms' crops. It literally is just ours. It's a bit of an interesting one actually, because if you see there, we just went through our not this time, but last time we went through our drove over the corner of our crop field of our winter wheat, and even though it said all tires and tracks, it still destroyed a little tiny corner piece. The map back on. So what it typically, the way I like to run my tractors is usually with wide tires and wheel weights. I like that sort of aggressive, beefy looking stance of a tractor. But I think that's actually... Let me just have a look here. Yeah, we need to... This will be a good test here if we... Yeah, that's fine. It's not destroying. Yeah, I think actually there is probably an argument to be made that we may need to think about just fitting all of our tractors with narrow tires, just to save ourselves any potential risk. Now, another thing, actually, if I can recall, there's 2 large chicken coops over here. I think they're large ones. I think they take 5,000 chickens a piece, so we may potentially look at buying those down the line as well. But we'll see how we go. Anyhow, let's get cracking on this. So I think if we run it on a 145 angle, that should see us all right. Right, let's get the time on as well. Whether we'll get anything done or whether we'll get to the end of these jobs remains to be seen, but we'll certainly do our best. And we will, if we need to, we will get more fertilizer delivered up to the field. But yeah, we'll just crack on. So far, I don't know if you agree, I think it's going pretty alright. There is a lot of learning to it. I've struggled at times. I've had to go off and do a lot of digging and finding, obviously, because again, as I always say, anything I say about Terralife Plus and about the things that are missing it's never ever a dig at the farming agency or anyone associated with the farming agency. You know, I can't even begin to imagine the amount of work that's gone into producing Terralife Plus. They've been very open with the fact that Terralife Plus in FS22 was essentially a beta test because they wanted to kind of test the theory and proof of concept it ready for their goal, I suppose, which was FS25. But yeah, it's been a bit of a slog at times because obviously there's not really much in the way of official documentation. But I've managed to pick bits up through watching other content creators and past live streams from people that were involved, etc. So I think it's yeah, I don't think it's going too bad if I'm being honest. I think we're working out all right. The main thing is just trying to keep on top of everything, deal with the extra time, because obviously there is a lot of extra time involved, as in game days, because naturally you're going from 12 months in, and each month is a game day, so there's 12 game days in a year, to 48 weeks, and each week is a game day, so you're going from 12 to 48. So essentially it's almost the same as running your from a time perspective, not the same in terms of growth stages, but it's almost like running your game on 4-day months. So there is that to contend with, in the sense of you've got 4 times the amount of game days to play with, which for us right now, as we're relatively small, it's, you know, it's a lot, or there's a lot of sort of spare time, if you like. But yeah, overall I think it's going alright. Sorry about that, I was just taking the old thumbnail caption. But yeah, it's, like I said, I think it's pretty going alright. There's a lot of, you know, I think there's still a lot to learn, and it's more for me it's more me trying to remember everything than anything else. So we'll do what we can do. We'll see how we can go. Like I said, I genuinely didn't think that I'd be back playing FS for a long time when I started this series, and I certainly didn't think I'd be back anytime soon creating content on the series, creating a series on FS22. But sometimes that nostalgia and desire hits. But like I've always said, I just want to play the games I enjoy, and I always enjoyed FS22. So it was stuck to my guns about FS25. Yeah, it's, like I said, I just enjoyed it. It's just a chill out game. Yeah, if you are looking for other content creators that do stuff on Terralife Plus, the main guy I've been watching is Disturbed Simulations. He's got 3 series that he did on Terralife Plus. But, he doesn't do anything on it now, because obviously he's moved on to FS25. He did a little series back when I think a map called like Burgish Land or Burgish Town or something like that. I think they made a version of that for Terralife Plus. It never got released on the mod hub, so he's got a link in one of his videos to get it. But yeah, he's the sort of main one, because he's involved, or he's either involved or very, very friendly with the farming agency guys that make Terralife Plus, and I think he was involved in like the testing and helped us in any way that he could. So he sort of he knows his stuff. Yeah, it's interesting to watch, because obviously he knows what to do. We must remember as well that we've got I'm pretty sure we never picked them up in the end. There's 2 pallets of seed down by that little garage building down there. So we must remember to go back and get those. Because that's one thing I've yet to establish, is whether with the things like the meadow and the alfalfa, whether we need to reseed those every season or whether it's like regular grass and just grows back. But yeah, we'll see. We won't know that until we've had the first cut off. We won't know whether it's going to come back or not. I'm rather hoping that it'll be like regular grass. You just sort of refertilize it if it needs it and give it a grass roll and get it back growing. Just because that'll be easier. We'll have a see. I've got a feeling I'm gonna swap. Did I put? I don't know if I even put alfalfa. I'm saying that. I think I put clover in there. And when you actually look at the clover, it's a very small. It's a very, very small window for the harvesting. I say harvesting, I think you mow it, but I think it's a very, very small window to do that. So I think we'd be better off using, I think, clover grass, which has got a much wider window for the sort of harvesting / mowing, because then we're not on such a tight time scale to try and turn it around. Yeah, all we'll do is when it comes closer to the time of having to mow those, we'll have to start thinking about getting our bunkers sorted out and what we want to do. So we've got 2 bunkers at the moment, which I think is probably going to be our I think one of those will be silage maize, and then the other will be one of the grass mazes, one of the grass things, and then we'll need to put down at least another 2 because there's 2 other types of silage that we'll need. One of those is or one of the ones I decided I was going to use is carrot pulp silage. So all that will involve is it will be filling up a trailer from the carrot pulp dispenser or the carrot pulp buy point, and then just tipping it into a bunker and compacting it and covering it. Now you might think, actually, well, what's the point of doing that? Why don't you just keep buying it from the thing? Well, the point of doing that is I want to be doing the mix as manually as possible. Now I can't possibly grow everything that we need because, you know, we need water. Can't grow water. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a water fill point somewhere on the map if I got a water trailer. Can't grow molasses, so you've got to buy that in. So there is stuff that we can't do, but what we can do at the very least is have some bunkers with stuff in that we can use a silage grab fork and fill up with a telehandler or a wheel loader or whatever. Just add that sort of sense of manualness rather than just driving under a dispenser and just filling it. I would like to do it in a way that seems like they would probably do it on a farm, which I know they do on some farms because I've watched a few videos. There was a video that shared the other week in the Maize Plus / Terralife Plus Discord where there was, I think it was on a German farm, and they were mixing up mixed ration for cows, and there was so much stuff that was going into it. The guy was on a little telehandler with a silage grab fork, and he was just grabbing all kinds of different stuff from different bunkers and stuff like that. So you know, like I said, I could just not bother with the carrot pulp silage and just buy the silage, the carrot pulp in from the thing, just drive the Farrow skin underneath. I just would preference to be able to load it manually if that's an option, which it is, because we can just put a bunker down. It's not going to cost us any more really doing that. I mean, it will cost us initially because we'll have to buy the bunkers. There's no real benefit in doing it. There's no extra sort of feed value or anything like that, but it's just something I wanted to do, so that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to get this contract bashed away. It's like I said, it's a big old field. At the moment, we've used just a little over 1,000 litres, so that's not too bad. So probably end up, the size of the field, probably coming up on about roughly half, give or take. So we might be all right, and then we just need to fill up before we go to the next field. But yeah, we'll just see. It's just going to give us a little bit of a cash boost. It's not really for any specific reason other than we've run out of things to do on our farm, and I don't want to just pump the time on a lot. That being said, as I said earlier, we will probably bump the time on a few weeks between now and the next episode. What I'll probably do is I'll just come on, I'll pause time, sleep through the night, check the animals, sleep through the night, check the animals, sleep through the night, check the animals, and then probably hit there. So we'll probably, when we come back next time, we'll probably be somewhere around 3rd week of June, maybe. And that should probably only be another week or two after that, then, that we can start doing some stuff on our farm. Obviously, whilst we're also doing that, we're going to be checking for weeds, any weeds that have sprouted up on our fields. Because at the moment, we've been lucky. Now, I wonder if that's because we've ploughed the fields that we planted, and the ploughing has sort of done away with the weeds. Because I know that was a feature on sort of base game, if you plough on precision farming, maybe, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was a feature somewhere, that if you ploughed, then you were less likely to get weeds. So I don't know if that's the case, because certainly the 3 fields that we planted, which is the 2 type of grass fields and the silage maize, we ploughed those 3 fields. The 2 other fields, we didn't plough those because we bought them as is. The one had already been sprayed, and the other one, the winter wheat, doesn't seem to have... doesn't really seem to have had any weeds, so I don't know what's happened with that. But that field does need ploughing, so at the end of the season, once we've harvested it, we will plough that in. So, but like I said, that is the, again, not a dig in any way, shape or form. That is the thing, without any kind of like official documentation or like an official guide or official tutorials or anything like that, it sort of it does make it somewhat harder to sort of, know what to expect and in what circumstances things happen, if that makes any sense. So we'll see how we plug on. As I said, I don't know if we'll get through this whole entire field on the fertilizer that we've got. I think we'll probably need to get another IBC delivered, which we will do that. We'll get it delivered to the field because we could, what time are we? It's only 10:45. We could get our little sidekick, get a trailer for that. I want to try and see if it will take the... There is a... where is it? It's a miscellaneous. Yeah. Let me just double check. What's that one going? Just double checking all this a sec. Yeah, so there's this little trailer here. Now, it's usually for a car. I want to... need to pay attention because... So we're just going to lease that for now. And the reason I just gasped is because I can't remember if I reset the shot point. So there's a good chance that may have just spawned in the field down there. We can check on the map, actually. We do also need to do a little bit of tidying up on our farm because we've got stuff up at the... No, I think it went up to the shop. That's fine. We've got stuff... We've got equipment out, and we've got stuff up at the shop that we need to bring back to the farm. So we'll see. Yeah, it's all just juggling, and I think it's probably especially hard because I have had a lot of time off where I haven't played at all, and obviously in that other time I've been playing other games. You kind of get you kind of forget all your keybinds, all your muscle memory. And I desperately need to remember to plug in my side panel, the Logitech side panel that I've got, because that's a good one for having the little joystick on it, which is good for using front loader and telehandlers and stuff. Alrighty, let's go. Obviously, because I keep turning the HUD off, I'm not sure how far along we are in the contract, but we can have a look in the contracts. So we are doing 73 at the moment, so we're currently allegedly 35% of the way through. So we'll see how we go. Got 1,100 litres left in our sprayers. It's feeling good to be back, to be honest with you, on Farm Sim. I said it in the beginning, I don't want to, I'm not going to prattle on about it because I want this to be sort of positive series in the whole. But yeah, it's good to be back. If this series goes well, I've got another challenge series in mind, on a different map. It's a big if this series goes well. When this series ends, then I'll be able to merge into another challenge series. Slightly different in nature, but it's the problem, or not the problem, I don't know if it is a problem. The problem with this series is it's not really like an end goal in mind. It's just going to be, we'll just keep plugging along until I feel like there's not really much to be had. It's sort of like, in a way, Mr. Farquhar's Maypole series, which that's how I discovered Mr. Farquhar. That's how I found the man, the myth, the legend that is Mr. Farquhar. I was just starting to play Maypole, and I was looking for videos on Maypole, and he had a series that was on Maypole. I think when I found it, I think he was something like 15, 16 episodes in. So I back-watched all of those episodes. And he just carried on. It was just like a Let's Play series type of thing. From memory, I don't think there was like any real specific end goal in mind, and it just sadly ended because of map problems. I think it was one of the updates. Mr. Farquhar and I are quite similar in a lot of ways, where we know just about enough of the modding side of things. I mean, Mr. Farquhar knows more than me because he's got actual mods that are on Mod Hub. But we kind of know a bit about the modding side and how to edit XML files and map files and stuff like that. So I think he'd done some custom edits to the map, and then I think with updates and stuff, it just kind of, the map broke and things broke, and the series just came to an abrupt end, which that happens sometimes in content creator land. That does happen, especially when you're using modded games. You know, like all the games I play except for Roadcraft are games that I use mods on. And sometimes it just happens, the game breaks. You know, like an update comes and it breaks the mod that you've been playing with, or a mod updates and it glitches out the game. And that's just the way it is. It's just the risk you take with modded games. But yeah, that was a great series. And so this is kind of like that in a way, that it's not really any kind of defined end goal at the moment. It's just sort of going to run until I feel like there's nothing left to do. And, you know, at the moment, there's still a ton left to do. There's still so much of Terralife that we haven't even explored. You know, like I was saying earlier, do we get the chicken barns over here and we get a really big chicken operation going? And then we've got to try and figure out how do we grow enough feed to feed the chickens, because there's feed requirements for the chickens. And that kind of thing. We've got the dairy operation down on our farm. How do we keep that going? So yeah, if it goes well, and whenever I decide that there's not really much point in the series anymore, then it's there is, if it's gone well, there is another series in the works that I've got, which I genuinely don't think anyone else has done it on YouTube. I can't say that for certainty because A, I haven't watched Farm Sim in a very, very long time, and B, I don't watch every single Farm Sim creator out there, so I can't say 100% certainly that it's not been done before, but I personally can assure you that I haven't seen it be done before, so we'll see. Like I said, it's largely dependent on how well this series does. Which obviously the biggest barrier, I suppose, because I don't know how it's going to go, because I don't know if it's going to balance off or if it's not going to. The biggest barrier to this series is that FS22 is not the current iteration of Farm Sim. So let's just through that alone, less people are searching for it. There is a large and a large proportion of players that are disenfranchised with FS25 and the problems that had at release and everything, that have gone back to FS22. But that's the biggest barrier to the series, is the fact that this version of FS is not the current version of FS. So that just automatically means less people are searching for it. The thing that I wonder if that counterbalances off, I suppose, is that not many, if anyone, is doing Terralife Plus in any kind of real way at the moment. There are a couple of channels that have been doing stuff, but not anything really recently. So if people are sort of hanging back on FS22 playing Terralife Plus because they enjoy the extra realism and extra challenges that it adds, then that might counterbalance the thing of the fact that it's not the current iteration of Farm Sim. But we'll just see how it goes. Like I said, it's not it's really not set in stone. It's really largely dependent on when I sort of feel like I've not had enough, because I don't want to say it like that, but largely depends on when I feel like the series has run its course. Just putting the HUD back on just to keep an eye on the feed, on the levels. I think on the next down row we'll have to nip off and grab ourselves the additional tank of fertilizer. So yeah, we've got 375 litres. So we'll leave the HUD on for a sec, just as we keep an eye on that. We will, I think when we get down to about 50, then we will go off and get the sidetrack and come back up. Try and get that trailer, hopefully that trailer fits on it. If that trailer doesn't fit, it might just be worth doing away with that and getting a different one. Getting an actual vehicle. Yeah, at this point, you know, bear in mind everything I've just said about sort of end goals and finish points and the series, how we progress. Do we get the chicken barns down there at some point? But, you know, all that stuff. As always say, I always welcome feedback, any suggestions, tips, comments, positive, negative things. You know, I always say that, just hit me up in the comments below. There's a couple of caveats. There's the main one is, if it's going to be negative, if you've got something bad to say, at least try and keep it positive. You know, you've spent time out of your day sitting there watching my video. To sit there and not like it is fine. You know, I don't expect every single person to enjoy everything I put out. But if you don't enjoy it and you feel compelled to comment and tell me that it's not good, then do at least do me a favour and, you know, on a human decency level, at least do me a favour and make it constructive. Because I can't get better as a content creator if people are just coming at me and saying, well, your video's crap. You know, I never profess to be the best content creator out there. I do my bit, I try my best, and, you know, if you guys want me to do things a different way, just hit me up in the comments. And then the other one is, also bear in mind that I record these quite far in advance. Usually, at the moment, I'm recording this at the beginning of the 6 weeks holiday for school holidays. And you're probably seeing it close to the end. That's how far. This is episode 8, I think we're recording, and I haven't even released episode 1 yet. So just bear that in mind. I won't be this far in advance all the time, because I'm only doing it because I know that with the school holidays looming, my time is going to be limited. My mental fortitude, if you like, is going to be tested with having the kids home all the time. But sort of on a regular, will probably be 2 weeks in advance on episodes. So do bear that in mind. If you do make a suggestion and you don't see it implemented immediately in the next episode, it's not because I haven't taken the suggestion on board. It's purely because I record them, you know, far in advance, that I haven't had chance to implement it since you commented. Right, let's roll, buddies. So we've that's all that one done. Loaded up nice. Hopefully we won't need any more fertilizer now. We're over 50% of the way through, 53% through. So we probably will use most of this. And this is a smaller of the fields as well, so it's it is what it is. They're both profitable jobs anyhow, so we'll it doesn't really matter. We're still going to make a hefty amount of profit from buying the fertilizer. The thing I actually wanted to check was the finances page. It does break it down. Cool. So when I mixed up the feed, it was put in as a misc cost. So based on that, it cost us €2,805 yesterday, or last week, to mix up the animal feed that we mixed up for the heifers, and then it cost us $1,500 to mix up for the bull today. So depending on how long that lasts us, 2,800 for buying the stuff in is actually not that bad. That is on a relatively small herd though, so, you know, that's only going to feed 8 cows. For how long? Who knows? We've used about, I want to say about 4,000 litres already today. Right, so the bull, he's 100% everything now. Now we've given him the proper food, he's 100% everything, but he still cannot reproduce. So, I'll have to do some digging about that, because I assumed the reason that he couldn't reproduce is because he... Why this is having such a torrid time backing up. Anyway, yeah, I assumed the reason that he couldn't reproduce was because he wasn't 100% health. So I might have to, I'll do some digging in the Farming Agency at Terralife Plus Discord to see why that is, because my assumption was that he wasn't 100%. The cows are 100% as well, so it's not a case of the heifers are the problem. So I just don't know. Because when I bought him, it said on there a 28-month bull was ready to reproduce. So I don't know about that one. I'll have to have a little look. I say it's not the end of the world, because if he doesn't, if we can't get him to be reproductive, then we can of course just pay for the vet to artificially inseminate. I am wondering, is it a seasonal thing? Perhaps. Are bulls in Terralife Plus only active in certain months of the year? I'll do some digging. I'll find out try and find out before the next episode. Go searching in the Discord and see if anyone else has asked. So far as I can tell, he's 28 months. He's within breeding age. All of that stuff. So he should, in theory, be a-okay. We could obviously make this quicker if we got a bigger sprayer arms. At the moment, the sprayer arms are probably about the right size for the fields that we own, which is why I haven't bothered to get them bigger. I think this particular sprayer, you can configure the sprayer arms to be 48 meters, I think, or 42 meters, something like that. So it may well be when we're further down the line and we need to be buying up bigger fields, then we may well have to consider getting the bigger sprayer arms on. To speed this process up. It says at the moment we're fine, because it suits our farm size and we're just doing contracts on this field, so really worth paying the extra to, it probably cost us all of the profit in the contract to get the bigger arms fitted. I will tell you, by the way, I mentioned him earlier, Mr. Farquhar. He's got he's been playing FS22 again. He also was a bit disenfranchised with, not to the same level as me. He got it on release and he was a bit disenfranchised. He played a bit around release and then he took a break from it. But he's back on FS22 now, and he started a 4x Own the Map challenge. He did an Own the Map challenge on FS22. I think that was probably his longest running series. series on FS22. And yeah, he's got that going. So if Farm Sim is your bag, do go and check that out. I've just missed the row there. Definitely have. So yeah, go and check out his Own the Map series. I think he's got a stream series on a Northern Ireland based map, I think, or an island based map. I think it was called Lady Hill, I think. I haven't watched much of that, I'll be honest. I usually I try and my time is limited, and as it is, and it's always I never get a chance to catch much live streams, which is you know, me and Mr. Farquhar have a mutual understanding of the pressures of both the fatherhood of young kids and trying to create content and trying to consume content at the same time. I'm not sure my wife would agree, but I consume a considerable less amount of YouTube content than I did before I started trying to make videos, and that's largely because the times that I was usually consume YouTube videos is now the times that I largely try and create YouTube videos. So we have a mutual understanding of that, and you know, he doesn't expect me to watch all of his stuff, and I don't expect him to watch all of my stuff. As and when, you know, and try and catch every live stream. Of course, we do try if we're available, but as I said, it's the pressures of not only trying to create content but trying to live life with a young family. He's got two young boys, and yeah, it's not always easy when you've got young kids to be able to do what you want to do, as I'm sure anyone who's got kids that are grown up will remember. Lovely as they are, they do sap a lot of time. And sometimes, to be honest with you, I love my kids to death, and sometimes it's not even a case of they're getting in the way of content creation. It's sometimes I'm just so knackered by the end of the day. Some days are just so full on, and you just think, oh my god. And then the last thing you want to do then is sit in front of your PC trying to think of stuff to waffle on about for 40 minutes, an hour of recording time. So sometimes I just veg out in front of the TV with the wife, and we try and find whatever we want to watch. Yeah, it's just tough. It's just balance, like everyone. Just got to find that. I mean, I don't class this as work, but work-life balance of trying to create and be present in your kids' lives and stuff. But yeah, main point of all that waffling is go and check out Mr. Farquhar. He's an awesome guy. Got loads of good content. He was dealt a bit of a hard hand by YouTube at the end of last year. He got banned from monetization for a little bit. And he's back. It's back building his channel. I think he is goaling himself to get to 5,000 subs by the end of the year, I think, and he's getting pretty close. They're going to show him some appreciation and love. If you do so depending on how the percentage kicks away, we might need to consider coming back up and doing that bit. I mean, the way this episode is actually going, to be honest with you, I don't think we're going to be getting that second field done. So it's taken considerably lot longer. I think, again, this is probably the downside of running the 10x speed. The plus side, the massive plus side of 10x speed is it really helps me out to be able to create this series, because that's always been one of my biggest issues with Farm Sim, is I used to run it like between 2 and 5 speed, flitting between the two, and I'd get these massive recordings of like 2 to 4 hours long, depending on what I'd been doing. Which not only is the file size massive, it's 2 to 4 hours of scrubbing through footage and trying to put together a video. At the time, I wasn't a particularly quick editor. I'm not even particularly that quick now. I describe myself as somewhat of a convenience editor, if you like. I specifically engineer my recordings so that minimal post-processing time is required. It's generally just to go in and clip out a couple of the silent parts, and try and check for sound levels and stuff like that. So that's why I've got it on 10x, because it gives a raw footage time of about an hour, which is about what I make on other series, sort of in the 1 hour to 1 hour 10 region. And then if there's any bits I need to cut out by then, I'm getting an episode time of probably around 58, 59 minutes, an hour maybe, depending on how long the original raw recording was. So that's a large, because that was one of the big reasons why I stopped doing FS as well. It's because the pre-recorded stuff was nigh on impossible for me to do at the time because of the extra, amount of effort that goes into it. But I suppose like this now, we've took on 2 contracts, and I fully intended to complete both contracts on this episode. Whereas now we're probably looking at only finishing the 1 contract, and I'm pretty sure that I set it to all contracts finished by the end of the month. This is the last week in the month, so it's not like we can even carry that contract over to next week, because I think it will automatically cancel the contract and give me a fine when I sleep through the night. So it's what it is. It may well be that we end up having to drop the speed back a little bit, and we just deal with a slightly longer episode. Or we may drop the speed back for certain parts and then put it back to 10x or something. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Obviously, you guys are the ones to judge. You guys are watching this stuff, so if you are watching and you've got any thoughts about the pacing of the episode, if you feel like it's going too quick and we're not getting enough done, then, hit me up in the comments, let me know. Like I said, we could speed this up if we paid for the wider arms on the tractor, but if I take this to the workshop now, get the bigger arms fitted, it's pretty much all of the profit in this job doing that, so there would be literally no benefit to us doing that whatsoever. Something to think about for our own when we've got when we get further down the line. Just curious about this bull situation, that's all. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I think there's a part missing. There's something we haven't done that we probably should have done, or there's a part that we've misunderstood somewhere that we need to understand as to why the bull is not willing to produce, or reproduce rather. Let's get down on the next row. I reckon we're nearly done here anyway. I reckon we've probably got another 2-3 rows to do. Yeah, I reckon probably another 3 rows after this. But they are getting shorter because we're getting onto the short side. Well, onto the more sort of odd side of the shape, so so far it's going all right. It's a bit of extra cash for us. What I'll probably do, I think, just thinking about it while we're running here, when we've done this job, we'll end the episode there because we're creeping up on over the hour, and then I will sleep through the night, and then I'll know if that contract, if the other contract that we took has cancelled, then we'll just cancel it, take the fine. The fine will be a couple of grand probably. If it hasn't cancelled, then I'll do that contract on the next episode, and then we'll sleep through from there for a couple of weeks. If it has cancelled, then I'll sleep through before the next episode, and we'll move on to like third week of June or something. Because in June we have got, look at the planting or the harvest calendar. So the winter wheat, we've got probably second week of July starting harvest window. So it depends when that's ready to harvest. And then we've got our clover, which we can't harvest the clover till the end of July. And that's what I was saying about the clover grass. The clover we've got such a short window. The clover grass got a long window. Then we've got the meadow. The meadow is probably the second week of July. And we've got the spelt as well, which is the end of July. So we've got stuff to do in the coming weeks. It's just getting there. At the moment, because it's coming up to harvest time and everything, the only type of contracts that are really available is either fertilizing or herbicide. So we'll see. What I may even do actually is you guys will see my thought process is very dynamic and changes all the time. What we may actually do is do this. If that spraying contract hasn't cancelled itself, we may well just do it off episode, because it's only going to be the same as this, and that field's bigger as well. So I don't want you to have another full episode of me just spraying a field. So we may well just do that off episode, and then we'll sleep through after that for the next episode. But as much as this isn't like a challenge series with money and stuff, I did say at the beginning, and I do stand by that I don't want to just pump money in for the sake of it, just to keep the farm going. The only way that we're going to pump money in is if we take a loan, and then obviously that's got to be paid back. So it's not as much as it's not about being a super struggle for myself financially, it's also not about me just making it super easy, because if it was going to be that, I would have started off with like 10 million or something. So we don't want to make it too easy. Just keep on plugging on. Yeah, guys. Also, if you are watching my videos, whether it's this or whether it's the tracking, snow runner, the roadcraft streams, whatever it may well be, if you are watching and you are enjoying, I would greatly appreciate it if you could consider subscribing. We are trying to plug on to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be absolutely awesome way to end the year. At the time of recording this, I think we're at 467, I think. So we're very, very close. We're 33 out. So yeah, if you are, if you're been around lurking and watching but not subscribed, I would seriously, greatly, truly appreciate it if you could consider subscribing. It does genuinely mean the world to me. I'm just a small timer, just trying to have a good time. So do consider it if you don't subscribe already. We are just coming back down to the end of this penultimate row. Just got the one more to go. We'll roll around and go up the other side in a sec. We are working sort of late. It's 6:30 now. Like I said, it's taken us all day to spray the field. What I don't know is when you used to do contracts on not sort of Terralife, you would it would essentially give you like a bit of a discount on doing the contract, like in that it would sort of mark your completion once you'd got to like 90-odd%. I don't know if they fixed that in Terralife so that you have to do every single bit of the field. I guess we'll find out. Yes, we will find out. Because by my estimations, we should be popping up complete anytime soon. Unless we missed it. Oh yeah, we did miss it. That's alright, we'll finish the job. We'll get to the end of this row. It must have pinged up when I had the HUD turned off. Right, so let's get this up here. So that's taken probably a couple of grand in fertilizer. Well, a good few grand in fertilizer. There we go. Let's get that folded. Let's head back down this way. Right, what I'll do, just so you guys can see what's going to happen, is we'll park this off to the side here. We'll complete the job, get paid, and then we'll go and sleep through the night real quick. And then we can find out what's going to happen with that other contract. Right, so let's get paid on that one. Collect, that's going to be 30,000. Lovely job. So that takes us up to 351. And then if we hop down to the farmhouse, which is over here. So what we'll do as well, we'll stop the time. Let's check the animals as well real quick. So they got 63,000 litres of feed. Let's hop into our thing. We'll sleep till 8 AM. And we'll see what's going to happen with that other contract. So we've got some lease costs there. And we've got a failed contract. So we're going to get 3,500 penalty for that. So that is, yeah, £3,500 off. That's absolutely annoying, but it is what it is. That is just the way that the cookie crumbles, so to speak. But we'll quickly check our cows. So they've gone down to 59,000. So you can see there from close to 7 PM. So 7 PM till 8 AM is a 13-hour window. They've eaten just about 4,000 litres, which is not bad. Got 2,280 litres of slurry. The bull still cannot reproduce. He's gone to 29 months. They've gone to 19 months. They are pregnant, though, because they're a reproduction 10%. So the cows are reproducing, but the bull is practically useless. So interesting. But anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on now because the episode's probably been long enough. That is going to do us for this one, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. I do apologise, it was just one job. We'll try and work out some pacing issues. But for now, guys, that is going to do us. If you have enjoyed the episode, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already. Leave me any thoughts, feedback, tips, tricks, comments, whatever you like down below. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.